welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the Star Chronicles, where we give you all the greatest up-to-date news on Dallas Cowboy football. My name's Troy Hill. We got Lisa Lee with us this evening. How are you?
Fantastic.
We got Kyle with us. How are you doing, sir?
Pretty good. Can't complain. Doing all right.
And we have the man of mystery, the Starstruck fan. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm well.
Good. Well, I'm sure we're all surprised. We lost to the Steelers. Well, we're not surprised at the loss, but we're surprised probably at the level that we competed against the Steelers. Lost 24-19. What's your thoughts on the game overall, Starstruck?
Well, it didn't go as expected because we were all expecting it was going to be a blowout, basically. I mean, just for lack of better words. And the team actually put up a fight, played a lot better than we expected. I mean, what can you complain about? It is what it is at this point. You're down to your fourth-string quarterback. Your defense is back, and it showed me the expectations of what we thought we were going to have when we began the season. So, I mean, they're not exactly where we want to be. Still don't have the safety that a lot of us are desiring. But the fact we haven't given up 30-plus points in the last couple of weeks, to me, kind of speaks over what we've been seeing for the past, month or so.
No, I totally agree with that. I mean, I think there was a lot of encouraging things that I saw during that game. Even though it was a loss, none of us expected it to be a victory. I mean, I was encouraged and stuff. I just don't want to get sucked in too much. Then they're thinking we're around the corner. We getting ready to go full. So I don't want to do that neither. What's your thoughts, Lisa Lee?
Yeah, I think we played we played better than we have, but let's call it what it is. Pittsburgh played really badly on offense, especially. The defense had moments of good-ish stuff, but I think the fact that it was close, because Pittsburgh didn't play badly for all four quarters. So I think the fact that you were able to kind of stay in it and actually have a shot, at the end, I think is, promising. I think the main thing for me was they showed a little fight. Like it wasn't just phoning it in and no effort. And, there's one that we all know that he still lost, but it was okay. I wasn't mad about it at all.
No, I totally agree. What's your thoughts, Kyle?
Overall, they did play better, but they still haven't put together a full, complete game. I mean, the fourth quarter, our offense didn't score any points, and our defense let up 15 points in the fourth quarter. And I think that was the difference right there. I mean, I know we talked about this defense, how well they played, but they let up 15 points in the fourth quarter. I mean, it came down to it. They just, there was pass rush, but once again, they didn't record a single sack, no interceptions. I mean, and Ben Roethlisberger he was dropped back and passed almost every play that second half. I mean, I don't think they ran the ball more than maybe once or twice in the entire second half. And one was on that, 4th and 1, whatever, down by the 20-yard line or whatever. But, the defense played better, but that fourth quarter just showed it's not good enough, 15 unanswered points is not good.
True.
So.
No, you're correct on that. Garrett Gilbert, we went ahead and put Benny DiNucci back on the shelf, put him back in the frozen pizza aisle with all the other collections of pizza. But which I just wonder why did they go with him to begin with anyways last week and not this guy when you already had him? Does anybody wonder that, or is it maybe just me? Okay, Lisa Lee, what do you got?
I think it's because he had just gotten here, he literally 3 days before. So they felt more he hadn't even had a shot to really learn the playbook yet. Is the only reason they went with DiNucci week before last.
I don't know. DiNucci looks like he just got here too. He looks like he still ain't here. But so
I think it was the same story. Yeah, I think it was the same story with. Were you referencing Garrett Gilbert, Lisa? And then I think it was the same thing with Cooper Rush. I think we had just signed him, and although he had some familiarity with the team and playbook, they said he just didn't look the part. That's how the report sounded like to me, because he didn't start over Garrett Gilbert. So to me, it looks like he knew the playbook. He had familiarity. He just wasn't showing it in the practices that's who they wanted to go with. And for them to throw Garrett Gilbert tells a lot of. I don't even think Cooper Rush, when Andy Dalton's activated, I'll be surprised Cooper Rush is still on his team.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either.
Yeah. What's your thoughts, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, I actually heard that he said that Cooper Rush said the playbook was 90% the same from last year, which is like kind of disturbing. Like, we have a whole new coaching staff, but it's literally the same exact offense. And we talked about this. Like, it's pretty much the same. You know what I mean? I mean, you got a little more weapons because you have CeeDee Lamb, but like, it's Kellen Moore. He's not gonna just throw away one playbook and start over to the new one. So it's but I thought I just kind of laughed and shook my head when he said that it was literally 90% the same. He could, the same thing.
Same coach.
Did Cooper Rush say it was 90% the same playbook?
Yeah.
Well, see, that scares me even more. I don't know which is scarier. That's just like 90% the same playbook, or Cooper Rush that knows 90% of the playbook already can't be good enough to start starting the game. So that's equally as terrifying. So
but we changed over everybody but the offensive coordinator. So it's going to be 90% because the only addition you added that's probably the 10% is CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
Everything else, Tony Pollard's still there, Zeke's still there, Cooper's still there. Your offense is basically the same. Dak was still there up until his injury. So the only thing changed was CeeDee Lamb. So they probably added 10% of reverses and whatever gadget plays. Probably 10% was gadget plays. That's probably why he didn't know it. But whoever has something to say.
Yeah, but I mean, I get it. But let's talk about Zeke. What's wrong with Zeke? 18 carries, 51 yards, 2.8 yards a carry, and 2 receptions for 18 yards. He's definitely not the Zeke that we were accustomed to. And it's not just him. But I'm sick and tired of seeing the feed me stuff. I'm sick of seeing that. But I can make up that statement about several players on our team that don't need to be doing any of that stuff. But Kyle, I know you're the number one hater of Zeke on our show.
Okay.
So go ahead and lay it all in first.
It's not that I hate him. I hate the contract. That contract is going to go. We're going to look at this years from now. Like, that was a terrible contract. And it just goes to show, like, look at everybody else who got paid. Like Gurley, he's no longer in that team. Le'Veon Bell, he's no longer in that team that gave him a contract. And then, this guy, Zeke's averaging, 58 yards per game? I'm paying $15 million for 58 yards per game. And his average, week by week, you see that yards per carry is dropping week by week. And running back, it's such a bad investment. And like I said, people defend it like, oh, there's the line or the quarterback. Well, and I've said before on the show, if he's dependent on everything being perfect, then is he really worth $15 million? I can go get someone else to do that for a fraction of the price. You know what I mean? I can go get an undrafted rookie free agent right now off the street to give me 50 yards a game. That's not even a doubt in my mind. I could do that. You know what I mean? It's not that I hate the player. I hate the contract. You don't pay a running back before you pay your quarterback. Man. And like I said, look at the top 5 running backs. It's a bunch of first-year guys, second-year guys, and second-round picks. Those are the top 5,
Mm-hmm.
You can find value in the second round. And then, like I said, Dalvin Cook's contract extension, Derrick Henry's contract extension, those were proportional to what a running back, it looked good. 4 years, $50 million with only 30 guaranteed, not 90 with 50. It just over 5 years. Zeke's, like I said, it's just the wear and tear. Me and Star talked about this. Once you hit a certain amount of carries, your production, it's proven it starts to fall down, and he's there. Mm-hmm. And it's just they signed him. He held them hostage. That pisses me off. He held them hostage by going to Cabo and forced them to pay them. I'll be honest, that rubs me the wrong way. 100% rubs me the wrong way. And he screwed this team. Financially, this team is screwed, and he's one of the reasons. So
no, I totally can get and respect that. What's your thoughts on that, Lisa Lee?
Well, I'm going to say this, like, he only signed what was put in front of him. So as much as you want to, and he did hold him hostage, and I get that part of it, but at the same time they caved. And if you're if you're that good a businessman and you really saw the whole picture, you'd have just said, okay, we screwed that up, and that just is what it is. Like, we'll let it ride or whatever. But they thought they were 1 to 2 pieces away at that point, and so they're the ones who, Jerry lacks the drama, and he lacks the splash, and he lacks all that. So it was
the pageantry.
Yeah, I mean, he lacks the pomp and circumstance, and so Cabo and the contract being done late was pomp and circumstance, because had that been done and had it been average, but I heard it on the Fan, and they had a really good point. What Zeke's contract is going to do, it has done a disservice for top talent running backs going forward. Like the one out of Clemson, Etienne, I think is his name. Like he's really, really good. And he may be the exception, but otherwise, like, teams, just like you said, teams don't need to reach in the top. I don't even really think in the first round, unless it is like a transcendent talent like that one out of Clemson. Like he will go top 10 probably, but Zeke's contract is going to break the league of paying running backs like that. And because a lot of teams are going to 2-back systems or 3-back systems, and there's just not a need for a premier back making that much money. And so I don't know. It's weird. I don't, because Zeke is still young. So I don't understand why the fall off has happened so quickly, I feel like, with him.
It could be lack of discipline. It could be the out of football things that he does, it could be that stuff. You never know how, just because, football, there's wear and tear, but some of your outside stuff you're doing could be creating wear and tear also. What's your thoughts on that, Starstruck?
Well, I look at it this way here. It may cause a rift with us and in this conversation, but I think he may be spoiled. And you're like, well, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by spoiled? I think spoiled, if you go back and look at Zeke when he was at Ohio State, he was basically that Marshall Faulk, Barry Sanders type guy that when he got the ball in his hand, he created. You brought him to Dallas. You put him behind what, if not the greatest O-line in the NFL. Seemed like I remembered Emmitt Smith. I could be wrong. I don't even want to quote him verbatim, or if he didn't say this, but I saw somewhere where I thought it was told to him that he's got to learn to be more of a patient runner, to be behind this O-line and not to beat these guys to the blocks, that allow the blocks to develop and then pick your hole and go.
Yeah.
When you've done that,
you can see that.
Yeah, and when you've done that and you've conditioned him since 2016 to be like that, and then you get somebody like Tony Pollard that comes in that did not consistently run behind a great O-line, that when he gets in, he's just like, I'm just going to take the ball and go. I think you see the differences in running style. Zeke has been conditioned over the years to wait for those great guys to be great at what they do, seal off the block, and then you wait for it and you go. Now he's being that patient runner, and that hole is not getting sealed. Those openings aren't happening. And while he's waiting for it to develop, he's getting hit in the backfield as he's being decisive or indecisive, I should say, on where to go. Versus Tony Pollard, he never was conditioned because of his limited carries. It's never been that, okay, wait for my guys to, it's just get the ball and just go. And you're seeing that difference in Zeke waiting for it to develop and Pollard just touching and going. And I don't know, it's like the saying they say on social media now, if you can't unsee that, it's like Zeke can't unsee how the line used to block. He's still seeing and waiting for those guys to do what they do, and it's just not happening for him, and it's making him look bad. That's
I get
a starstruck take. I could be completely off.
Oh, no, it makes sense. Well, did you have something, Lisa?
My nose just itched.
Oh, okay. All right. So Go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah, you know what? It goes back to my quote, not my quote, but remember a couple years ago, Stephen Jones said that Zeke is a straw that stirs the drink. You know what I mean? Like, he's not anymore, though. He's not. Like, because, I mean, you look at this offense, the straw that stirs this drink is Dak Prescott. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even debatable. This offense has evolved to revolve around Dak. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it goes back to my point that if you saw it, I thought, to me at least, you saw it trending that way. And if you saw it trending that way, then why would you pay a running back? You know what I mean? It makes no sense. Like, you know, I mean, how many games have we won without Dak that we won because of Zeke? None. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. I said it. And back to Lisa's point, you know, it's not exactly Zeke's fault. Jerry's an idiot. He should have never paid him, but he loves the offense and the sparks, and, and the crowd. But I mean, it was like I said, this team is it's not 2016. It's not 8-17 and 8-18. He's not the straw that stirs the drink anymore. Yeah, I mean, that just is what it is.
Yeah. Dak's that fancy straw with the umbrella in it. but which goes to
all the curls and stuff in it. That little straw.
It bends at the tip. So yeah. No, but it's like flavored like a candy or bubble gum. You can chew it when you're done drinking, blow bubbles. But which brings us to the question of Tony Pollard better than Zeke, and I'm going to go ahead because this is a question that Starstruck asked, and there's this like old video that you go down on your social media. Sometimes you see it. It's like an old man with like some glasses, and I think he's at a wedding. And he's singing a song like "Hell to the No." That's what I'm going to sit there and say right now, still, because that whole thing has Troy Hambrick written all over it. I'm sorry, it just does.
We got a new name now, Joseph Randle, to add to that too.
Yeah, I mean, either one of them. I mean, he's a great player. I think if, like Lisa talked about, a lot of players and a lot of teams in the league are doing a 1-2, thing. I think he would definitely be a complementary player in a 1-2 back system thing, but not as like a featured back. No, hell to the no. Thoughts, Lisa.
Well,
now when I ask you, take the money and everything out of it, because the money actually, because the money plays kind of a factor into it. So we take away the money. We're like, well, we pay him so much, he's not being productive. That kind of adds to it, make it easier to say, well, I'd go with this other guy versus this other guy if I had a choice, if that makes any sense.
Well, I mean, we're hamstrung with that. I mean, we're stuck with that contract regardless. But like, I wouldn't be totally opposed. And honestly, I feel like if we lose the next couple of games, 2 or 3 games, I think we'll see a lot more of Tony Pollard as to hopefully prevent an injury to Zeke. And I'm not 100%. I won't say that I don't think Tony Pollard is better than Zeke. I will say it's exactly like Starstruck said. It's just a vision thing at this point. And if he was the feature back, I would like to see what, and he kind of was honestly against Pittsburgh, but I would like to see what he could do as an every down back for an entire game just to see, because if there is an out, and I haven't looked at the nuts and bolts of that contract for Zeke, but if nobody's going to take it on anyway, so I feel like we're stuck regardless. But if there was an out, and let's say you were a team like Seattle is a good one right now. Their offensive line isn't hot garbage like it has been in the past, but they're like to their 4th-string running back. So let's say, and we know they'll give up crazy stuff with the one piece that they're missing. So let's say they offered you something and you could get out from underneath that. I would like to see what Tony could be as an every down back, just so you have a point of reference if it were to ever come up.
Yeah, I can respect that. I mean, completely makes sense. Well, what's your thoughts, Kyle?
I mean, like I said, pound for pound, he's probably not a better running back, but like Starstruck was saying, like Zeke, I mean, maybe he's better for this offense and this year and with this line, because like I said, you see, he gets the ball and it's like he's shot out of a cannon. You know what I mean? Like but then like I see Zeke and like I don't know if it's a vision thing. He's running like a fullback. You know what I mean? He just like lowers his head and he goes forward. It's just bizarre. Like his running style this year, it just, I don't know. I just feel like the offense seems to have a little more spark when Pollard's in there. It's bizarre. I mean, I know it sounds bizarre, but we watch it. I mean, he had 2 20-yard runs last week, right? That's more than Zeke's had in like 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, he had one game, you know? I just, you know, I'm not saying he's going to be your feature back for the next 3 years, but I'm with Lisa. Like, I mean, if he gets 15 carries and Zeke gets 15 carries, I guess I'm okay with that. I mean, if he gets 18 and Zeke gets 12, I'm okay with that too. You know, I just, at this point, the running game is what it is. It ain't going to turn us from 2-7 to 9-7. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like, might as well see what we've all liked Pollard for 2 years now. I might as well see what you got with him. You know what I mean? I just, I don't know. You know, I like the guy. You know, I think he's a good running back. I mean, he's a good running back.
I mean, I agree. I like him. I just can't sit up there and say that he's better than Zeke. And when I think about it more, it's like I agree with Starstruck's point about the vision, but I can look at it both ways, because I see there's sometimes where he's making that, where he's either waiting for something to develop or he's bailing on something for development. He's like trying to cut out like where there's nothing there. And I've seen plays like that too, where it's clearly where he's supposed to go right, you know, but he doesn't do it because it's not fully developed yet. So he just kind of bails on it. He hops left and there's nothing there either. So, I mean, I look at that kind of like both sides, you know. It's to a point though where he looks slower though. I mean, remember his first couple years, Zeke, he would go to the edge and hit the corner and he'd be burnt, he'd be gone. He can't hit that corner anymore like he used to. Pollard does though. You ever notice Pollard can run that sweep and he's gone, whereas Zeke, he can't stretch it as far. He's not as fast as he was. I mean, like I said, it's a product of age and carries, but
all
he's
that
more
money
limited. He's more
down his pockets.
What?
Oh, all that money weighing down his pockets.
Yeah. Maybe there's all the sand in the cleats from Cabo trips. Who knows? Yeah. I don't know.
Was there a report of him? Was there a report of him not playing that game? Because I was surprised that he was even out there, because I thought he wasn't going to play. So does that attribute to anything? I mean, has he been hurt? I mean, do we know if he's been banged up the whole season? Because I've heard things about particular things that's wrong with him that he hasn't had surgery on, and that he needs to have surgery, and he still has yet to have surgery on it. You know, it's like a bad wrist, perhaps. But why? I mean, why don't they just put him on the shelf now? I mean, we're not playing for any damn thing.
Jerry still thinks they are.
Huh?
So Jerry still thinks they're playing for something. Jerry and Steven.
I wish we were I wish we were like in a legit division where
I know.
I think being in a legit division with like legit teams.
Yeah.
I think hopefully ownership will look at things a little bit differently.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, receiver wise, CeeDee Lamb, 4 receptions, 71 yards, 1 TD. Gotta love CeeDee Lamb. Amari Cooper, 5 receptions, 67 yards. I'm just not sold on Cooper. I mean, I like Cooper, don't get me wrong, but, you know, it just keeps on settling in with me more and more as the weeks go by that, you know, we see him like when there's a home game, and then when it's on the road, we don't see him. And I wish that we really would have unloaded him and stuff during the trade deadline to any damn buddy and just got some type of pick. I mean, that's just my opinion. Gallup, 3 receptions for 36 yards. Not great at all, but I mean, I know Gallup's going to play when you putting your thumb down, but the difference is Gallup, he'll be on the road and he'll still be there. You'll see him do something. Cooper, I mean, with his Frederick Douglass sideburns and stuff, you won't even see him around. Can somebody please tell that man to cut that stuff off? And thank you. What's your thoughts on that, Lisa Lee?
The receivers?
Yes.
I mean, they're getting passes thrown to them by a 4th-string quarterback.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take a hard pass on that one, just because. I mean, I get it. We've seen that with Amari even last year when Dak was still playing, and even at the beginning of this year. But Amari, you know, his contract is another one that, I mean, I think we have an out after next season, or maybe it's after this one even. I don't know, but you know, I like having the 3 weapons, because then you have to pick your poison. If you're a defense, you can't game plan for one of them. You can't. It's going to be hard to cover all 3 of them at any given point. So, I mean, I would like to see what it looks like at full staff, but you know,
See, I would be content with still Cedric Wilson, God, what's the tight end's name again? Schultz, and the return of Jarwin, next season. I mean, I would be happy with all that. I don't need to see Cooper. I'm sorry, I'm just done with him. It's like, hey, he has zero motion, and I'm just done.
Did you see that quote from the Eagles, Brandon Graham? The quote about Amari Cooper? Did you see that quote? It was something about, he said something about in the last week's game, like he could see it in Cooper's face that he just looked like a defeated player. And right then and there, they knew they were going to beat the Cowboys because, they had him. I mean, he's got a point. Cooper, he does seem like I don't know. You're right. Like you said, he just sometimes the body language. I mean, I don't know. But to Lisa's point, he's got to have fourth-string quarterbacks that went to him. So who knows,
I mean, I'm just saying for real, starstruck. He's basically like the equivalent of Tyron Smith and stuff, like missing like 6 games of the season with injuries. The only difference is that he's missing 8 games because he doesn't show up during road games. So, I mean, what's your thoughts on that, starstruck?
Thank you for asking. Because even though we say this guy is not showing up on road games, I think we can go back and play, and there's some times where he has showed up and he has not, of course. But at the end of the day, he either has probably more touchdowns than the other receivers, either more receptions than the other receivers. And for those that are singing all the praises about Michael Gallup, I've not heard nothing ever since there's been a quarterback to not throw over 50 yards down the field to him. I have not seen Michael Gallup, the great catch, and none of this stuff since the quarterback has not had time, which I told you guys a few weeks ago. I said the quarterback doesn't have time. You're not going to hear much from Michael Gallup. He's a one-dimensional guy. He's a 50-50 guy. You guys laughed at me when I said it, but you haven't heard anything about Michael Gallup really in the last 3 weeks. As far as big play, he is not catching slants and running them 30 yards down the field. And
Cooper's doing that? Cooper's doing that? How many touchdowns does Cooper have since Dak went out?
Yeah.
How many 100 yards game does Cooper have? How many touchdowns does Cooper have since Dak went out?
Who is the quarterback throwing to?
Who's throwing at Gallup? The same quarterbacks are throwing at Gallup, or the same Cooper throwing to Cooper.
Receivers are getting hit. They're either getting Dalton Schultz because they don't have time to look at nobody else. CeeDee Lamb's probably the second. And Amari Cooper is usually in that top 3. Gallup has been in the 4th probably in every game pretty much since the quarterbacks have.
And Cooper's contributed to 0 wins. Cooper's got a 0 win since Dak's been out. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you want to dog Gallup for not getting deep passes. The same quarterbacks are not throwing deep passes to him, are not throwing touchdown passes to Cooper.
That is true.
A 30-yard game, a 10-yard game for Cooper. Let's not forget those performances. I mean,
I'll tell you this. Let's take Cooper out of the lineup, and then you put Michael Gallup, Cedric Wilson, Dalton Schultz, and CeeDee Lamb out on the field, and let's see what the offense does then. You're going to probably see an even worse offense once you have no other option because CeeDee Lamb's fumbling every now and then and getting the rookie shakeups all the time. Dalton Schultz, okay, so he's catching 6-7 yards downfield, so we're going to keep just doing the conservative dump-offs now all the way down the field again. And Michael Gallup.
I'm missing something. I'm not trying to argue, but am I missing amazing Amari Cooper games in the past 4 weeks? Am I missing those plays where he's just like highlight reels? I mean, like, I'm sorry. I mean, go give me Cedric Wilson. Give me Noah Brown. Who cares? You know what I mean? Like, at this point, it's a 2-7 team with Ben DiNucci throwing him the ball and Garrett Gilbert. I mean, what's Cooper doing? I'm sorry. I don't know how I can defend him. And not do the same for Gallup. Cooper has done nothing in weeks. Go look at those receiver standings every week. Goes further and further and further and further down.
Where was he?
He was at number 4, maybe. I don't know before, but
he was in the top 5 when Dak went out.
That's my point. That's my point, though.
Trying to say something here.
Okay, time. Go back to your corners. Let's send out the ring gal, Lisa Lee. What words you got, Lisa?
Okay, so in this regard, I think what Amari brings to this team, and this is going to appear like I'm taking Starstruck's side, but what Amari brings to this team, it's not statistical. So what it is him being on the field. In theory, you have to game plan for that because of what he could be. I'm not saying that he's doing it. I'm saying, but that in theory, when Dak was playing, that's going to leave CD open more. There's going to be more opportunities for Gallup and CD because Amari is technically the one. So while the statistics may not be there, the presence on the field in a regular season matters.
Okay. Well, I mean, that makes sense too. I mean, you're throwing out something that's like something, but it can't really be measured. So, that does make sense.
So if you pull, like I was saying, if you pull Amari out of the lineup, somebody else is going to draw that attention. Guess who it's going to be? I don't think it's going to be Michael Gallup. I think it's probably going to be CeeDee Lamb. It's going to start seeing underneath coverage and over the top. And now you're going to have Michael Gallup having to be your guy who hasn't catch passes over 50 yards, trying to be your leading receiver. And like I said, you're going to really see this offense plummet with Garrett Gilbert with a little bit of success he's had. If Amari Cooper's all of a sudden hurt and you've got to now try to rely on CeeDee Lamb to be your go-to every week.
They scored one touchdown with Garrett Gilbert. One. And every other game they scored nothing but field goals. What do you define as success? They scored one touchdown last week. That's the success, is one touchdown?
There won't be any.
There wasn't any before with any other quarterback before except for Dak. Worse than 3 points to Washington? The 9 to Philly? Where's the 9 points to Philly? I guess it could be 0. I don't know. I mean,
what's the record? What's the record of the Cowboys right now?
2 and a lot.
Okay, I'm just gonna leave it right there and not say anything else and stuff because I think 3 of us are still like in the bid and stuff to get.
And for the record, I like Cooper.
The season.
For the record, I like Cooper. I like Cooper, but just like I said, it's just production has been. But everyone's production offense this year has been bad. I'm not blaming Cooper. I just it's just I do like him generally.
It's like I like him. Don't get me wrong. I just don't like him enough to. I've
pay him $20 million a year.
I'm in fire sale mode.
I am too. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
I will get rid of any damn thing we can get down. We can get value for. So he's one of those people on the list. So
I agree. Yeah.
That's just the way it is. Let's go ahead and look over at let's go delve into Andy Dalton real quick. You guys excited saying that he's going to be the starter? If he's ready to go? I think that's the dumbest thing they could do. It looked like they had some type of cohesion and some. I mean, why is it that I feel like being a Cowboy fan, like with ownership, they're always like an opposite land of things that you think they do because there's like actual proof. You just roll out there like against the best team in the NFL. Yes, they did not have didn't have that great of a game, but you rolled with them. Oh, well, so I guess we're going to go ahead and throw Andy Dalton in there in the mix. Now, does that make any damn sense? Or is it just me? Because Dalton, he can go too. I mean, yeah, he can go. Thought starstruck. I'm serious. I would get rid. I'm in liquidation mode, and I need to get rid of all this stuff in this warehouse. And we just got just rock bottom price.
It makes sense. Consider me Jerry crazy, but it makes sense. Unfortunately, for many of us that may not want Dalton to be the quarterback, he was still named the starter. He's the starting quarterback. If Dak was to get hurt this year, which he did, and it was an injury that he could return from as being the starting quarterback, once he got healthy, he's the starting quarterback. I don't care how good Andy Dalton is doing. Dak is your starting quarterback. They have named Andy Dalton as the starting quarterback. In his defense, he had a shaky first start. He had the Giants half a game where he won that game, and then next game he just looked like pure poop. But I think you owe him the opportunity to come back after what Garrett did, or Garrett Gilbert, whatever his name. You owe him the opportunity
Gilbert
to come back and play. And if he stinks it up again, he's gone. But I think he is owed, because of the injury, to come back. And because he was named your starter, he was the guy that carried the torch behind Dak during the offseason. He was named your starting quarterback in the event Dak goes down. This is who you said is going to be your guy. So you allow him that opportunity in this game against Minnesota. And if that first half, he's really not looking the part, you sit him down and you go back with Garrett Gill. What do you got to lose? You're probably not, like you said, we're in a barn fire anyway. So let's see what Andy Dalton's going to do, because now he's playing to see if maybe he's an option to come back next year. Because I don't know. You put Garrett Gilbert in and he plays out this season great. he's probably going to see some contracts coming at him, for next season to bring him onto his team because he's still kind of a young guy. Andy Dalton, not as much. We may be seeing the Andy Dalton again for a second year based upon his up and down performance. Nobody's going to probably give him anything, and he's going to probably be a suitable backup for next year. But I see you bring this guy back in, give him another shot because you're 2-7 anyway, so you're probably not going to have much. So if he stinks it up, you wasted a half a game. You bring Garrett Gilbert in, you sit Dalton down. That's just
I mean, I can respect that view, but I think with the lack of mobility that Andy Dalton actually has, I think we'll be seeing Gilbert Grape probably well before the second half of the game. We'll be still seeing Gilbert Grape probably in the second quarter, I would believe. I'm just gonna call him Gilbert Grape from now on. From when you're mangling his name because that sounds so cool. Lisa Lee, what's your thoughts on the Andy Dalton thing?
2 things real quick. One, and I'm going to try not to curse on this one because this one made me go to the upper room.
Oh,
I don't know anybody anything at this point. Okay, so that's the first. I don't know Andy Dalton any favors. I don't owe him another chance. I don't at this point owe anyone anything. But number 2, if you are truly, here's my opinion, because Gilbert, people are going to catch on. Now, it's like I talked about in my little blurb on my Facebook page. A lot of the reason he had the success that he had was because there's no tape on him. Nobody knows what to look for, habits, trends, tendencies, whatever. Now there will be. And now there's not a ton because it was only one game. So they're not going to have a point of comparison yet, but they are going to be able to study that. But if you are truly, I mean, nobody's going to say it. Nobody's going to officially say we're not trying to win these games because right now we're picking third. I'm good with third. But I do believe that Andy Dalton gives you the best chance to lose. So if you are not intending on winning this game, then sure, you should roll out with Andy Dalton. Sure. But I don't know anybody anything at this point. We're all, I mean, I feel like everybody's, and I kind of do, I do agree a little bit with Starstruck in that let's see if he has anything left to keep him on this roster as a backup. Okay, I get that. But I feel like, just like we talked about before, everybody's job should be being evaluated. Everybody's role on this roster should be being evaluated at this point in this season. And
I agree. I mean, I just, you're correct. We don't owe him anything. And I mean, and I actually do agree, having him start or having him be out there does give us the best chance to win if we want to. I mean, just our best chance to lose if we want to tank. But I kind of like this, just putting out what we got, and just I kind of like the idea of these younger guys getting snaps, getting more experience. Maybe getting a little more camaraderie with their teammates and stuff, learning about the team building and believing in each other and getting each other's back. So I kind of believe in that too. So I just want to. I don't know. Wins would be nice, but I definitely want to see some competitive football. What's your thoughts, Kyle?
The problem is Stephen Jones, and he said it in the radio interview, thinks that Andy Dalton gives us the best chance to win. That's what Stephen said. And he said that we're one game behind the Eagles for first place. Goes back to your point, we're in the crappiest division, whereas if we were in the NFC North, we'd already be talking about a rebuild. You know what I mean? But because we're one game behind the Eagles, he thinks Dalton gives us the best chance. Those are his words. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. The delusion of the Joneses is what keeps this team from moving forward. Let's be real here. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they're delusional. Like, yeah. I mean, those are his words. Dalton's starting because he says they give us the best chance to win. Those are his words.
Kyle, what is he going to say? He can't say what Troy just said. He can't say we're going with Andy Dalton because he's going to give us the best chance to lose. So you say the opposite. You say we want to put Andy Dalton in because he gives us the best chance to win. When actually you might be saying, let's put him in there because we know we're going to lose with him in the lineup.
I don't think him and Jerry don't believe that, though. At least Jerry doesn't.
No.
Jerry thinks the team is good. He talks about it all the time. Just get in the tournament. And now they're talking about expanding playoffs this year. Oh, my God. If they expand playoffs, Jerry, Jerry's like, oh, we might get in at 6 and 10. You know what I mean? We know that, but Jerry and Steven don't think that. You know what I mean? Like,
I really don't.
Win the division, we won't get in. We won't be in the bubble.
And they don't deserve to be. Yeah, exactly. They don't deserve it. Yeah.
We're in a bubble, but it's not the good one.
Yeah, I mean,
the whole entire NFC, what is it? Almost West with a winning record, and then you've got the NFC. Who else? I know there's got to be like a couple of divisions ahead of us that even if we go to a bubble scenario without winning division, it's just not going to be enough for us to get an invite because you got too many teams, and we lost to too many NFC teams.
The problem, if you look at the top 5 draft picks, 3 of them are NFC East teams. 3 of them, Cowboys, Redskins, and Giants are all 3, 4, and 5. You know what I mean? Like, it's a bad division. Bad.
Yeah, and it just makes me just think again that because I don't trust the ownership. I certainly don't trust Jerry, and I certainly don't trust Steven. It's funny I say certainly when I speak in terms of them because Jerry's always saying certainly. But I think that they just don't realize. I mean, it just means so much to them that we're 1 game behind Philadelphia, and they're just not realizing that this division is just straight burning trash. It's like that iceberg. This is what it is. You guys see the Titanic movie and stuff, and the guy's sitting there, and he's like, "There's icebergs approaching," and the captain turns around. "I've just increased the boat to full power," and they're like both calm with each other. That's what this has always been.
And you know who we are, right? You know who the 4 of us are, right? We're the people playing the violin on the deck, just going down with the ship. I'm like, be like, no, it's gonna be fine.
No, there's enough lifeboats for everybody.
I'm gonna be on 2 violin cases, just trying to like scoop my way across the water with my feet. But let's hop over to the defense. Defense played appeared to be a lot better. I mean, we don't know really if it's just Steelers playing bad. I mean, they did give up 15 points in the 4th quarter. The most lingering thing. What was the kid of the rookie 3rd round draft pick?
Trayvon.
No, not Trayvon. The defensive lineman.
Neville Gallimore.
Oh, yeah, Gallimore.
Yeah, I was impressed. I was thought to myself, why in the hell we haven't seen this guy sooner? But I mean, it's just my thoughts. Diggs at the end. Oh, we'll cover that in a minute. Jalen Smith. He can go too. Sorry, great story, but I got this liquidation sale behind me, and everything must go. Rock bottom price. Anybody on Jalen? I'm sorry, but it's just too much childlike stuff that happens with him. I mean, how can we have the 3 and out, then all of a sudden, 2 seconds later, well, there's a flag. I'm sitting there saying, oh, Jalen must have did something stupid. Sure enough, had his hand in front of the quarterback, and then they give up the touchdown. And I know you guys might think it's simple, but that's some simple math type stuff. He's done that 10 zillion damn times. He's like that hard-headed kid that always wants to smile at you and be sitting there like, okay, I'm going to try my best. But he just doesn't do what the hell he's supposed to do. He keeps on messing up stuff. I mean, I just don't like him. I'm sorry. Well, Lisa Leon, Jalen?
I mean, if you'll take this receiver, we'll throw in a linebacker for free. I mean, he's just, and I can't fault him for the roughing the passer call because they missed one. They didn't call the same thing against Garrett Gilbert. That. I mean, one of their defensive players, TJ, I think, honestly. But I mean, but yeah, it's time to move on from that. But you'll see him the whole rest of this year, and then they may part ways with him. Yeah, I don't know if they'll do it after the season or wait another year, but.
Yeah, I just hate it because, I mean, it's not like I don't like the guy because I do. Because you always see, like, the sides, like, always in the huddle. He's like, the coaches are talking. He's like, but he just can't get it done. He's just that, yeah, he's just, He's just like that caterpillar is getting ready to be that butterfly, but it just didn't quite become a butterfly. It's like got one wing, and he just ain't there. But he's really really encouraging. He's gonna try, but he just doesn't get there.
He's Nemo.
Anyway, what's your thoughts on it, Kyle?
On the defense in general or Jalen Smith?
Oh, defense in general. I mean, I know you got to go over Jalen.
I think we beat this. This is to a pulp. This Jalen Smith thing. It's the problem. Like I said, the problem is if you're trading for him, you're trading for his contract. That's the problem. That is the problem. Like with all these other players that are underperforming, if you're trading for them, you're also taking on their contract. So I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? The defense did play better. Gallimore did play well. You wonder why he didn't play earlier because of Dontari Poe was taking all his snaps. That's why. So I think, but overall, it sucks that Diggs broke his foot because he might miss the rest. If it's 6 weeks, he's basically done for the season, basically, unless he comes back week 17. But they did actually seem like they hustled more. I give them credit for that, but. That fourth quarter, when your back's against the wall, you got to kind of come through a little bit. 15 points. I know there's the Steelers. So, but like Starstruck said, got beat by a one-legged quarterback because Ben was hurting. He couldn't move. Like he was literally hobbling around out there throwing passes, and you couldn't get a sack. Like still, you could not get a single sack on him. Like that's just stuff like that's just irritating. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean. And Randy Gregory also, I thought I just need to understand this rotation of the defense and stuff now. Yeah, I said Randy Gregory and stuff. I'm still not gonna say he's a beast because he ain't. I ain't gonna do that. But he's kind of doing those things where he's not getting the sack, but he's kind of doing some of the things I liked about Michael Bennett last year, where he's not doing the thing, but I still think, pressure and hits and contact sometimes is just as good as a sack. So, what's your thoughts on that, Starstruck? Just the defense in general and just anything that you saw defensively that made you say, hey?
Yeah, starting off with the Jalen Smith, and not to talk too much, like I said, we have beaten that up a lot. But, he's the type of guy, he'd be great for your sister. You'd love for him to marry your sister. But we want him to play football in the NFL and be a linebacker. That's the problem that we have. If you want him to marry your sister, I got the guy just for you to bring him over and invite him over. I think Lisa had something to interject right quick. I don't want you to lose your thought.
No, it's me. I'm the sister.
So, see? So if you want somebody, you want to introduce somebody to Lisa, got the perfect guy for you. Yeah, to play linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys. It just might not be it. It might, might be something different out there. We can look into a career folder and try to find you something else that might fit your skill set a little bit differently. But that in that sense, it's just we're trying to play football. We're trying to win championships. It's not you. It's us. It's not you.
It's funny the way you explain like Jalen Smith, like the greatest date gentleman a woman could possibly have, but he's falling short in like one major area later that makes him just useless. So,
if you see him walk out on the stage on a dating game or something like that, wow the crowd.
Oh, he's a great guy though.
And I'm glad you said something about Randy Gregory. Nope, he's not beast mode. I'm not going to label beast and all this, but what you do see, I think we all can admit out of Randy Gregory is that you remember those things we've been hearing about Tank, about D-Law, about, he's doing this, he's doing that. And you're like, I don't see it. I mean, it's hidden. You got to really go back and look at the film. None of us really need to go back and look at the film and see what like how we had to research and see, okay, I see what D-Law is probably maybe doing. Everybody can say there is evidence on national TV that we saw what Randy Gregory was doing. There is no, let me go back. I got to look at it again and see the film and see him in the trenches. Maybe he was, there's a bunch of people around him. I just couldn't really see the damage. You clearly saw him being disruptive.
Yes, he had moves.
Like I said, I don't want to say beast, and I told you so. Now that we can all admit it does look like he's being disruptive, and it has brought another element to the defense. Like I said, he might not be the DM. To me, he's making Aldon Smith look expendable right now. To me, I don't know if we're gonna touch on that, but I mean,
Smith.
You talk about Zeke.
Got this big yard sale.
He's hitting a wall. He's hitting a brick wall. And right when he's starting to taper off, thank goodness, I'm saying, thank goodness Randy Gregory was signed. Because I'm like, had he not been here, what would we really have on the other side? Because all this stuff, I mean, when he picked up that fumble, I'm like, it was like he was running with buckets on his feet through sand. I mean, he was really slow. And I'm like, if he's running slow like that on a fumble return where we could have scored on, how is he getting to the QB? Did the QB just happen to run in his direction? I mean, he's not chasing anybody down with the speed that I saw. So I'm just thankful that we signed Randy Gregory in that sense, just because of his mere presence and how he's being disruptive.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he figures out there's no more issues with him, like off the field stuff, but it's clear. I mean, I'm not sure how they do the rotation with snaps. I'd like to see him get more snaps, but as far as like his movement, I mean, he has burst. I mean, he has legitimate like big deal spin moves and everything. He has to swim. He got everything for that role.
Almost like a low budget DeMarcus Ware out there. That's me, low budget.
And you know what? I actually agree with you on that because he does have those variables, but he hasn't had enough playing time in the NFL to get to that point. So we don't know if he can stay consistent and get through this season, start up next season. It could be a big deal, but I'm still not going to say beast just yet. But then again, back to Smith, I got this yard sale here, y'all, and I got 5 players, and I'll sell you the whole lot of them and stuff. Just give me a price, anything. I just can't. I don't know. I mean, still back to that point. I mean, this is the end game. I mean, well, it's the end game, but I mean, we definitely need to figure out what the hell we got going into next season, and we need to make moves accordingly to what we need. You know, and that's just the way it has to be. So, I mean, in essence, I think this is like, besides like winning and being successful, this is probably like the second best situation in the whole deal if they go according to plan, evaluation, and getting these young guys snaps. So, that being said, thumbs up, thumbs down on who's going to win the bye game this week.
I had my thumb down for too long. I got to put it up this week.
I don't know. We would figure out a way to lose a bye game. But we'll go ahead and skip through that. Cheeto returning. Anybody excited about Cheeto returning? I'm not excited about it with him returning. We don't have Tay Diggs back there, so I want to see the whole thing.
I mean, it's like what I've said on the show the last few weeks. It's like guys that we were like, golly, you want to take out the trash with him. It's like now that Trevon Diggs is out, you're almost welcoming this guy back. It's like, oh man, we're so glad, the fans are like, we get Cheeto back this week. I'm like, but you the same guys 2 months ago that said Cheeto's got to go. Now we're all excited. When Anthony Brown went out, everybody's he's trash. We're glad he's gone. Anthony Brown returned. Everybody was excited. Anthony Brown's coming back. That's just what we are right now. Cheeto's coming back. We got to be thankful he's coming back because Diggs is gone. And who's on the other side now? You got Jordan Lewis and who else is there? Anthony Brown.
Yeah.
You definitely don't want to see Deion Smith out there because we saw he literally threw that. I mean, the game went through him on that last drive. He missed the tackle on one play, and then he missed the tackle on both plays. Now that I think about it, I mean, he just didn't get the tackle on the first play, and then on the second one, he got hurdled for a touchdown. He stopped the 2-point conversion at the end of the day. When you look at the score, it didn't really matter. But he came in to replace Diggs, and we saw Big Ben go to work on that side. I say, they gave up 15 points, but at the end of the day, Trayvon, it would have only really been like 6 or 7 points. And but they gave up that 15 because Savion Smith came in there at the crucial time of the game where the Steelers had to get that score, and they went right at him on back-to-back plays.
No, you're right. I mean, you're right, but Cheeto, he's somebody else added on the list. So if you guys aren't doing anything, you happen to be in the Michigan area in Detroit, make sure you check me out the 8 Mile Swap Meet because I'll be giving away 7 players. 7 players, any price. I don't care. Okay, so let's talk about the Minnesota Vikings. Winnable game, all right, guys. Winnable. We can win that game. Oh, jeez, Lisa. Starstruck.
Give me another week on that one. I don't know. I got to see what the Minnesota Vikings look like after this weekend to see if we've got a chance, because if our defense plays the way that it did the last 2 weeks and we kind of control the run game, we might have something. I mean, the Vikings, what are the Vikings record right now? What are like a game better than we are? I mean, honestly, what are their record right now? They're like a game ahead of us?
I think so.
I mean, I know.
Do y'all know who their running back is?
Tell us.
Yeah,
I know it's Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook. He's probably playing the best. He arguably could be the best running back in the league right now. You don't think he's going to expose? And look who their coach is. They will expose this defense. There's no doubt, in my mind, anyway.
The Vikings are 3-5. We're 2-7. I'm not buying it. Not this week. Maybe next week if we have another show. They're 3-5. I don't care what Dalvin Cook's looking like. They got one more win more than we do. So it all ain't cooking chicken in the kitchen with them. So
where do we go? What? Beans don't burn in the kitchen. How do you start thinking about the Jeffersons?
Something just ain't right with them, in other words. Like I said, they've got one more win, I think, more than we have, even though Dalvin Cook's been looking the part. So I'm like, if we can have Neville Gallimore, Randy Gray, these guys, DeMar Lawrence control the run and force who they still have? Kirk Cousins? I mean, this is Kirk Cousins who we had some success against, and we did play them last time, and he did win, but it was a barely. I mean, it wasn't like Kirk Cousins looks great against us. I think we've got a shot if we control the run. If Dalvin Cook runs for 200 yards, we're in trouble. Of course, it makes no sense. We won't win. But if we can somehow find a way with the newfound pieces of Gallimore, we got Randy Gregory, D-Law, Antoine Woods, if those guys can keep it together, we may have a shot if we force them to throw. We may have a shot. I don't know.
Well, okay. So you're undecided.
And if ifs and buts were wishes and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas.
I'm taking a shot with Kirk Cousins. I don't care. It's Kirk Cousins. Had it been if it was Aaron Rodgers, Big Ben, Drew Brees, different story. Kirk Cousins, I'm giving us a shot.
Is it at home or is it in?
Once we had a shot at, we had an offense.
The Viking Sanders sent back saying, "That's Andy Dalton. We got a shot. It's Andy Dalton."
Right. And they're gonna say, and it's here, so Amari Cooper won't be here either.
The one thing I can tell you that they're not saying is oh my God, it's Andy Dalton because they give him a chance to win. Even Stephen Jones said it.
If this team plays the way it did against the Steelers, we will beat the Vikings. The thing is, we probably won't. Because we haven't been able to put together 2 consecutive good games yet this season.
And we're not good coming off a bye.
That's what I was going to say. The bye week might actually hurt. You know what I mean? If they can ride momentum, and then now with this COVID thing, didn't they close the facilities yesterday and today because of the COVID thing? Like I said, I'm not making excuses. That could play an issue. Because like I said, I would honestly rather have my team play if you're going to be getting hot, I don't want a week off. You know what I mean? Give me that. Yep. Keep going. But then a week off plus COVID shutdown, I don't know. I mean, anything's possible, but I think that factors into it a little bit. It has to a little bit factor into it. A virtual meeting instead of real practice, that's nothing.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna say thumbs down and stuff after thinking about it more. They're gonna put up a little bit of a fight, but there's gonna be something dumb that Jalen Smith is gonna do. He's gonna swipe afterwards, and not to realize that because I'm sick of the celebration by, you know, the Zekes of the world, the Jalen Smiths. It just really just ticks me off. You know, yeah, look at me, eat my cereal. Yeah, I get 2.8 yards a game. I don't even know if it's bad this week. Beat me though. I get tired of it. You know, if I was a coach, but this ain't high school and stuff, you can't be that disciplinarian. If I saw a celebration after we've been hot garbage for like 3 or 4 weeks, then all of a sudden you want to do some crap like this because you finally decide to average or get a 10-yard run, that's gonna be your last run for the game, player, because I'm sitting your ass on the bench. So yeah, I'm like, far as that type of stuff goes, I coach like some, you know, football stuff here and there, and I'm just a disciplinarian. So if you're messing up, sit your buttocks down. So, any final words for people, Lisa Lee? For the people.
Just stay safe. That's it. Just wear your mask and stay safe.
Okay. All right. What do you got, Kyle?
Yeah, sit back, enjoy the weekend of football, and not being on the edge of your seat during a Cowboys game. Just enjoy it. Relax.
And what do you got? Start short.
I just echo these guys. You know, be safe. You know, Cowboys football this week. I know it'll sadden me. I mean, these guys are not putting on a good show that we want, but it's still always good to see some Cowboys football because, I mean, pretty soon, especially if this team doesn't make the playoff, this season is going to be over pretty quick for us. So, I mean, I'm going to miss the games, but enjoy it company, enjoy the fan, enjoy good football, and, you know, just be safe out there.
I know. That's very, very good stuff. And yes, I like to tell you guys if you guys like the program, make sure you click subscribe button, click the notification bell. Have a wonderful bye week end. And if you're not doing anything in the Dallas area, make sure you check me out at the Sanford and Son on Ice Spectacular downtown. I got a merchandise booth there. I'm going to be selling like 7 players from the Dallas Cowboys. Just bring some money and we're going to get rid of them. And you get a free Fred Sanford on Ice t-shirt. So holla at your boy, player. But that's all I got. See you guys next time at the Star Chronicles. Go Cowboys.